How is it going, everyone? So the English dub for Dragon Ball Super is right now at the very beginning stages of the Universe 6 tournament arc, and right now both Universes 7 and 6 are in the process of acquiring their top 5 fighters for this tournament. And this episode right here, episode 29, was basically the setup and everyone gearing towards, preparing for this tournament, which is going to be happening within 5 days in the Dragon Ball Universe timeline. So they have 5 days to prepare, and honestly, this episode gave us a lot to digest. There's a good section where we have Champa and Vados setting up the ring and the whole tournament grounds for this upcoming martial arts tournament, but then we also have Goku, Vegeta, Bulma, along with Beerus and Whis trying to figure out ways about how they can track and find this last Super Dragon Ball. And on top of that, we got to see these planet-sized Super Dragon Balls, and they are planet-sized. Like, they are the size of this neutral planet to where the tournament is going to be taking place. And this neutral planet is in this neutral zone in between Universes 7 and 6, and the reason they're having it here is that way no universe has home field advantage, which honestly is very, very smart. But another thing that's also being added to this tournament is thanks to Goku and Vegeta. Goku is saying we need to have the rules like the Budokai Tenkaichi tournaments back in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, to where it's like you either have to surrender or ring out, and that determines if you have a winner or a loser. And you can't kill and you can't have weapons. And then Vegeta adds in that there has to be a written test so that way no dumbasses can basically enter this tournament. Vegeta doesn't want to go up against stupid people that can't think for themselves and don't understand the art of fighting. So I do like that these rules are being put into place, but I have a feeling that those rules might come back to bite them in the ass one way or another. It just seems to happen within Dragon Ball, but we'll see once the tournament takes place. But the main sections that I want to talk about for this episode contains to Vados and Champa, and then, Goku and the gang, searching for the Super Dragon Ball. So first, let's start off talking about Vados and Champa. I really like this section because I just like the dynamic and the bickering kind of going back and forth between Vados and Champa. And we have both of them, mostly Vados, preparing and making the whole tournament ground. Like, really, it's only Vados who's really doing it. And as you just have Champa, you're just basically barking orders saying, make the dome, add air, make the ring a certain size, and then add concession stands because I am a fat cat and I need to eat. Like, honestly, the only reason there's going to be concession stands there is that way Champa can just stuff his face with food while everyone is fighting in this tournament, which I find very funny because I love just the fat, overweight jokes that go back and forth between Vados and Champa. Like, Vados is just very sassy, but kind of classy in a way, like I've mentioned since her introduction as a character. I'm really liking Vados as a character, and their interactions with one another is just very cool to watch. But then there's also this little nugget that gets dropped where Champa's like, hey, those two guys hanging around Beerus, those were Saiyans, right? We have Saiyans in our universe. Let's get one of them or a few of them to fight in the tournament for us. So we're going to be seeing a Universe 6 Saiyan pop up in this tournament, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him pop up in this tournament. But now let's move over to Goku, Vegeta, and Bulma trying to figure out a way about how to find this last Super Dragon Ball. And I really do like this section too, because not only do you get to see Bulma, using her brains to actually figure out this entire situation, but you also get to see Vegeta and Bulma actually acting like husband and wife. Like, this is the most you've seen Vegeta actually care for Bulma in an entire episode. Like, all the character development that we've seen with Vegeta throughout all of Dragon Ball Z and now into Dragon Ball Super, he's definitely changed a lot, especially with the ending of the Majin Buu arc in DBZ, and it definitely shows within this current episode of Dragon Ball Super, because not only do you see like Bulma sticking up for Vegeta, but there's also a moment too when Bulma thanks Vegeta for gathering all of the Dragon Balls at such short notice and kisses him, and then there's a great line that gets added by Vegeta where he's basically saying, don't do those sneak attacks up on me. So he basically thinks that Bulma's kisses are sneak attacks. It's just very funny and typical Dragon Ball humor. But then there's also a moment too when Beerus just yells, but then you see Vegeta basically covering Bulma's ears, and he even has like napkins in his ears. So it goes to show that there is now a loving dynamic between Vegeta and Bulma. Even though Vegeta is just very stuck up and prideful as a person, he still is able to show glimpses here and there that he does care for his wife, which honestly is very cool to see. But Bulma is a tough cookie as well, because she actually has the balls to actually slap Beerus, a god of destruction, to where you see Vegeta in this episode, you know, on Beerus's beck and call, and as soon as Beerus yells at Vegeta, he's off doing it. But you have Bulma in this episode actually having the gravitas and balls big enough to actually slap a destroyer. And I love the moment too when Whis just has like that cat moment, like, ooh, like you just did that. That was a great moment in this episode. So the gang basically comes up with multiple plans about how they're going to find these Super Dragon Balls, and one of these plans actually pertains to Shenron, where they actually gather up the Earth Dragon Balls and summon him, and you get to see, you know, that cowardly dynamic now between Shenron and Beerus. But with Shenron's power, we come to learn that he is unable to actually track the Super Dragon Balls. So he is actually useless in this episode, and then Beerus just uses his wish, basically saying like, I wish you were gone, just go away. So Shenron leaves, and it's up to now Bulma's scientific mind to come up with a way to find the Super Dragon Balls. And she does. She makes a bigger, more powerful dragon radar, and this part in the episode is like, I gotta point this out, it is a complete ass pull, where it's like, this came out of left field for sure when it got revealed that Bulma has this sister we've never seen throughout all of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and is using this sister to contact Jocko. Like, as soon as this character showed up, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm calling bullshit on this. Like, there is no way that right now you're introducing this long-lost sister of Bulma that has never been said before, never been introduced, but I do find it very funny that it's just nonchalantly just thrown in there. So there is that as well. But then there's also this like race against time right now for Bulma, because she wants Jocko to get here as soon as possible, so that way they can take the Super Dragon radar to the center of Universe 7, so that way they can try to track down the Super Dragon Balls, because Beerus got very ominous and kind of scared Bulma a little bit by saying like, us gods of destruction don't need these Super Dragon Balls. These are trivial things compared to a destroyer, but if I were to wish for something, it would probably be for the eradication of everything within this universe. So that kind of scared Bulma a little bit, to where right now she is pushing pedal to the metal, trying to find these Super Dragon Balls, so that way they can counter-attack any wish that if they were to win this tournament, Beerus would possibly make. So there's basically a race against the clock right now, 5 days to prepare, but there's one thing I do want to mention before the end of this review, is the character name drop of the character of Monaka. This character, I am really looking forward to seeing how the English dub portrays everything that goes down with this character, because Beerus is like hyping up this character right now, building him up, basically saying this guy is really strong. He's the strongest person I have ever gone against, and he is stronger than you, Goku. So I'm really looking forward to see how the English dub is going to be handling the character of Monaka, but also with the interactions of Goku and the rest. Like with Beerus, it's going to be so much fun to enjoy. But that is basically the gist of what went down in this episode. Very simple episode, again, but there's a lot going down and a lot of preparation going towards preparing for this upcoming tournament between universes. And I am really looking forward to seeing the introduction of all these new Universe 6 fighters. It's going to be fun, and I am really looking forward to hearing those English voice actors for those characters. So that's basically it for this review, guys. Episode 29 was pretty okay, but I'm calling the ass pull on Bulma's sister. So leave your thoughts down in the comments below, and I'm really looking forward to the next episode coming out next week, which will be episode 30 for the English dub of Dragon Ball Super. But until then, I'll talk with you guys later. All right, guys, see you later.